Stuart, earlier this year, Bees United put out this great book, Bees, Battles, Buckets and Ballot Boxes, a history, 20-year history of the long and tortuous fight to get us from Griffin Park to Lionel Road. And I was struck in the one of the first things you see when you open that book is a quote from July 2020 from Matthew Benham. So much has happened since then. But he says, our new stadium will be one we can all enjoy together. And of course, the one thing that we haven't been able to do this season is enjoy it all together.
Yeah, that picture of Matthew was actually taken at the second leg against Swansea, which was, of course, the last full first team game played at Griffin Park. And none of us would have expected that. We wouldn't have just moved into the new stadium, that we'd all be there. Over 10,000 season ticket holders, and who knows how many other thousand more in terms of home fans and away fans. Instead, we've had just a handful of games where there was a limit of 2,000. And look, I'm in a privileged position. I'm one of the, because I'm a director of the club representing Bees United, I get to go to most, but not all, home games and a few away games. And to be in that stadium now, frankly, rattling around a bit, but knowing how fantastic it's going to be when we are all in there. It's just something to kind of, look forward to. But tragically, sadly, we still don't have a date of when that's going to be. But, I can only say to the fans who haven't yet been in the stadium, it is everything you've heard about it and probably a bit more.
As if the last 12 months haven't been hard enough, there's a number of unresolved issues because we weren't able to say farewell Griffin Park. The whole season was built around farewell Griffin Park, and that didn't happen. And now, a year on, everybody's exhausted, and 99% of fans haven't been inside Lionel Road. So there's a double whammy there before the pandemic is added to the mix.
Yeah, I mean, mentioning again that photo of Matthew, I remember when we won that game against Swansea, and thousands of people, frankly breaking the COVID rules at the time, stood outside in Braemar Road and kind of sang and cheered and looked forward to, again, what turned out to be a disappointing game at Wembley. And so, there've been disappointments upon disappointments, but the message I take away from that is for those of us who remember Brentford in the lower divisions, to put it mildly, think how we would regard it now if we were, foreseeing it then, that here we are in the top six of the Championship, that we got that close to promotion to the Premier League last season, that we have a great stadium, we have, we're finding new talent all the time. And I think importantly, we have a new commercial management at the club, I think, doing a great job on a whole series of new initiatives, new ways of raising money for the club, new ways, I think, of entertaining the fans. So, I'd like to give credit, credit to Matthew in particular for keeping funding at the club. I mean, I sometimes hear people talking about the £50 million that's in the bank as a result of those two big transfers. Let me assure you, Matthew still needs to put his hand in his pocket from time to time to keep funding the club. And I think the management of the club have done a great job in these difficult circumstances. But I cannot say to you honestly, Stuart, that there haven't been some pretty disappointing moments along the way. But from my point of view, nobody's fault at the club.
Some people still had reservations, understandably, about the move to Lionel Road. And I suppose there was another body blow I noticed over the weekend, pictures appearing on social media of the bulldozers going in at Griffin Park. I mean, who can help but get a lump in the throat seeing that, especially given that the Bees fans haven't had the chance to experience what's coming next.
It is. And of course, some of us did do the kind of the tour of Griffin Park that the club organised, and I know a lot of people appreciated that. And yeah, I mean, Eco World are getting on with turning that area, which they've bought, effectively from the club, and turning it into housing. And last week they organised a Zoom for supporters who might be interested in what's going to happen to the old Griffin Park. And there were some interesting questions there. I think the good news I took away is that members of the public will be allowed to walk into what is effectively a private housing estate, which of course we could never walk into Griffin Park on a day-to-day basis. They will be actually allowed into it, something that you actually can't do at the former Arsenal ground, of course, at Highbury. So, these are small things to hold on to, but I think you'll see that people are making an effort trying to get through these difficult times.
So the AGM is taking place this week. Bees United fans who have registered before the deadline will be able to join via Zoom and either contribute themselves or just listening in to what John Varney has to say. What are the issues that are foremost in your mind for this year's AGM?
Well, I think that I've been chairman for the last 2 years, and I think what we've been trying to do is, let's call it a bit of plumbing. We needed to get some of our systems in place. We needed to get the membership built back up. And I think the proudest achievement has been to build membership back, depending on how you define membership, from about 400 active people to over 2.5, or coming up to 2,500, which is all been done in pretty much a year. That's, I think, a pretty amazing achievement, particularly by our membership secretary, John Scott, from the West Country Bees, who's done a lot of work on that. We want to keep building that because we think our strength, some of our clout, if you like, inside the club comes from the number of members we have. But we need to, the book we published in the past year, we think was a major landmark in putting on the record the fact, sometimes forgotten, that it was the fans who laid the way from Griffin Park to Lionel Road. And if join, they will be offered that book as a free gift on joining Bees United. So those are two landmarks. I want to build the membership, I want to build the influence. If necessary, we'll publish some more books if appropriate. We're not going into the book business to make money, just to make sure people know the role that the fans have made. And I think there are things that could and still be done. It's people who know a bit about me know I've been frustrated that there isn't some kind of exhibition or museum that chronicles the role that the fans have had in the club. I mean, then, we can have things about the history of Griffin Park, but we really need a better way of recording and celebrating the fact that the role the fans have had, and particularly for the last 20 years of Bees United. Now, a lot of the plans I had have been stymied by COVID. A lot of places we plan to do it have been, shut down. But I haven't given up on that ambition of having a public celebration of the role of Brentford fans in the history and the future of Brentford Football Club.
Do you share, as a fan and also a board member, do you share the concern that some fans have that the bigger the club gets, of which Brentford Community Stadium is the most obvious manifestation, that the thing that makes Brentford may be lost along the way somewhere?
Yeah, I think that's always a danger. I think because, as we were saying, the owner is a fan and the chief executive is a fan, and the chairman, I think, had to admit to a bit of Arsenal ancestry, but I think is certainly a fan now. It's a bit different from some sort of, let's be honest, from an overseas owner who wants it as a trophy or a trinket of some kind.
It's not Man City, is it?
It's not Man City. And I mean, we bang on about the fans a bit more than other clubs do, because I think it's true. I mean, there are clubs that regard the fans as a bit of a nuisance in some ways. We don't. I mean, because I say the stadium is a kind of living embodiment of what the fans help to create. And we say in our, Bees United sort of objectives that it's a club we can call our own. Well, it still is, even though it's, in truth owned by one man. It's all our own in the sense that we can all be involved in some way. And Bees United is a symbol of that. You might say it's just a symbol, but I think it's an important symbol.
I mean, it's been a difficult year for us all in so many ways, football related, on the pitch, off the pitch, our ability to enjoy football, and then the pandemic added to the mix. You couldn't ask for a more perfect storm, really. Give us a rallying cry, if you would, to lift our spirits. Spring is here and the vaccine is starting to roll out, so we are maybe feeling a little more positive than we were during the depths of winter. But in terms of Brentford, give us a rallying cry, something to look forward to after the long, hard months we've been through.
Well, I tell you what, when there's about 10 of us sitting in the stadium, apart from you guys in the media, and we often turn to each other on a big day and say, wow, what would it be like if 15,000 people were in this stadium now? And there will be a wow factor when that day comes, and it will come. Stewart, take it from me.
Come on, Brentford!